Cost of living is going up way too quickly in Jamaica. How do we really come to terms with the local spending power of our dollar? How can we ever make peace with the rising cost of living that we experience here in Jamaica?
The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me. Yeah.
Hello, Wagwan. Big up yourself, whether you're there yard or you're there abroad. Welcome back to another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. Now, in this episode, we're going to be looking at exploring cost of living in Jamaica and seeing how this is across other parts of the world. Firstly, Jamaica is not a country in isolation. Cost of living is rising everywhere. We hear quite a bit spoken about the pay packages of individuals living in Jamaica. And yes, this does apply. And there are reformations that are being made and have already started taking place for people in professions like the nurses and teachers and people who work in government institutions. Of course, pay package will play a significant part in people's ability to afford the things that they need in their society. There are some workers who are impacted more than others when we think about low wages, and this will negatively impact their spending power. When we look at cost of living, there are many factors that needs to be examined, and we're going to look closely at a few of them here. Specifically, we're going to be looking at three factors. The first one is experiential factor. And this is where we take in people's experience based on the demands on their income. And so when we hear about people's experience as to how they are processing the cost of living in Jamaica, we also need to compare that with other people and experiencing the cost of living in other parts of the world. And so, of course, people will talk about how quickly their money is spent and whether or not it meets the things that they need and that their family are demanding. And so that's something to look at to see as well, that cost of living is outstretching income or it's barely balancing. The second one that we're going to be looking at is self-sufficiency. And this is where we look at personal, local, and national levels of how people are being self-sufficient. Now, in many areas, people are able to plant gardens and produce some of the things that they need for themselves. And also, there are places in local areas where people can access produce that are made, and also on a national scale. Some of the problems we have, though, in Jamaica in terms of its self-sufficiency is the fact that Jamaica is a high consumer market, which means a lot of things that Jamaicans use and need are imported from other parts of the world. And this will definitely impact the cost of living and the spending power of our dollar and on the island. The only way that this can be combated is by creating more things ourselves, becoming producer people. So where we're producing more of the things that we need by manufacturing, refining things here on the island so that we can also benefit and buy into them. And in so doing, even some of the things that are used to input into the things that are currently manufactured on the island, a significant amount of them are imported. So we also need to look at how we can source things on the island ourselves so that we're reducing the reliance on imported items and materials in order to make or have things that we're using on a frequent and regular basis. The third area is comparative. So this is where we're comparing cost of living in Jamaica to cost of living in other parts of the world or in other countries. To do this comparison, we're going to be using data from a website called numbeo.com. And what they do is they look at the comparison of affordability of two cities or a country and other parts of the world by placing them side to side. Most of the comparisons that will be used here are based or hedged against New York City. And so we're going to be comparing cost of living generally. We're going to be comparing cost of living when we also include rent in that cost of living. We're going to be comparing cost of living when we focus on just grocery shopping. And we're also going to be looking at the spending power of our dollar in our country as it compares to other countries elsewhere. In the first set of comparative data that I'm going to be sharing with you, the further away you are from number one, the better your situation is. So in this comparison, I'm going to be comparing 4 countries. I'm going to compare the USA, Canada, UK, and Jamaica, simply because a lot of the Jamaican diaspora live in those 3 countries. So the first country on the list is USA, and they are in position 9. Followed by Canada in position 12, followed by the UK in position 22, and Jamaica is in position 30. I will also place the data here so that you can see it. And this is in terms of our general cost of living. So Jamaica is all the way down at 30. And remember, the further you are away from number one, the better your standing are. We will also look at what this means in terms of the cost index. For the index of cost of living in US, it is 70.4. In Canada, it is 64.8. In the UK, it is 62.0. And in Jamaica, it is 53.9. What this means is that in Jamaica, you are 46% more likely to cover a better cost of living than you would do if you lived in New York City. When we include rent in this cost of living, US goes up to position 6. Canada stays in position 12, and the UK goes up to position 16, whilst Jamaica goes down to position 37. So in terms of the cost index for rent, in the US, you are looking at 56.6. For Canada, it's 49.6. For the UK, it's 47.1. And for Jamaica, it's 34.8. What this means is that the rent in Jamaica is 65% more affordable than it would be in New York City. And so that again impacts on cost of living when that is pooled together. So that is when we include the rent and cost of living generally together as a bundle. Now we're going to be looking at the grocery spending index. Now remember, Jamaica is an importer for most of these things that are here being sold, whether they are importing the raw material or they're importing the refined product. Now let's look at what that looks like for Jamaica. For the US, they are in position 9. For Canada, they are in position 12. Jamaica is in position 19 and the UK is in position 28. Now this is the first time that Jamaica is in a lower ranking than any of these 3 other countries. Now what this means in terms of their actual index. Now in the US, the index is 75.0, whereas for Canada, it is 71.2, for Jamaica, it is 62.0, and for the UK, it is 56.9. This means, therefore, that in Jamaica, you're 38% more likely to find food more affordable than you would do in New York City. Now, because of all of those positive glowing bits about the cost of living for Jamaica, it would be worth me also looking at this other aspect, which is the local spending power of your currency. And therefore, we're going to examine how this appears for the others. Now, in this scenario, where we are going to be saying it, the closer you are to number one is the lower the spending power is deemed. And so here we go for where Jamaica sits, where this is concerned. And again, I will provide you with the statistics here so that you can have a look at it as well as me saying it to you. The US is in position 5, the UK is in position 18, Canada is in position 25, and Jamaica is in position 98. Now, what this means also in terms of the index value themselves is that in the US, the index is 142.3. Now, for the UK, the index is 115.2. The index for Canada is 103.7, and the index for Jamaica is 32.7. This is significantly different because what this has shown us is, as I've said, the further away you are from one, the lower your spending power is deemed from the statistics. What this means is that, for example, for someone in the UK, they have a spending power of 15% more than a person who has an average earning in New York City. Whereas for Jamaica, they have 67% less spending power than someone who earns an average income in New York City. Now, we're going to try and see how this works out, because if the cost of living on every standard is better in Jamaica, then let's try and see how we can understand this local spending power a little bit further. The purchasing power of one's currency has several key factors that contributes to it, and it also involves how much you are able to buy based on each unit of your currency. And because Jamaica has a floating currency, of course, our currency rates of exchange fluctuate from time to time. And also, we need to take into account the availability of credit in the Jamaican economy when compared to other economies further afield. With low income packages for some job fields, it can become challenging for some families and households to cover their costs when they factor in their basic income. Minimum wage as of June 1st, 2024 is a lowly $375 per hour, and this affects professions such as household workers, artisans, laborers, store clerks, and security personnel. A lot of the purchasing power of the Jamaican dollar is hinged on the exchange rate, the lot of importation into the country, whether it's with raw material or with refined resources, and also the availability of credit in the society. So firstly, New Yorkers have easy access to credit. Many of them have credit cards that they use to assist them in making their purchases so that they can actually afford their monthly cost and not just relying on their pure income each month. Most Jamaicans do not have access to this kind of credit, and they need to live in a system where they are able to afford it before they acquire it. Whereas New Yorkers are in a position where many of them can acquire material things in a time frame way before they can actually afford those things. This is one of the factors that does impact on the Jamaican purchasing power, because people wait until they can afford things before they actually seek to get them. And so they tend to buy things that they need more so than things that they want, simply because they have the financial means to acquire it. Although it would be important for Jamaicans to be able to buy more with less, we also need to take stock of the purchasing power when it comes on to using credit to buy, because with the existing marginable securities, it is an advantage to the Jamaican society that credit is by no means as readily available in this country as it is in other countries. So Eliona has hers. This is the meat, the mince that she's made with the sauce that she wants on it. And I'm going to show you how she assembles it. She heated up the tortilla and slice it down to how she wants it for it to fold. And concentration phase is on. And then she's going to put the filling in. Filling goes on. Okay, you put your caramelized
onions. I put them inside of it.
Oh, you put it in this when you're making it this time. Okay, instead of on it at the end.
Just put the inside.
Okay.
Just leave it because of the flavor.
And lettuce is going on, and then the cheese.
Yeah. Put like a cheese inside, so I'm going to put a little bit on top.
Oh, you use cheese, and you put some cheesy things in your sauce. Okay. And then that's it. Okay. And you mince, you just cooked your mince like normal mince, except you put your sauce on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So pretty much that's it, and it's a quick dinner, and it tastes delicious. Well, I don't know how the beef one tastes, but
you can find out.
I know the one I have tastes nice. I like the sauce on mine. And how much you're making?
2. And the rest I might have it like with some rice. I might just make like a bowl.
Oh, like a burrito or a rice bowl?
Rice bowl.
Okay.
I made one the other day with fried chicken.
Oh yeah, you did.
And the potatoes, rice and peas.
Yeah. So you might just make a rice bowl with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't looked rice yet. Probably plain rice because I sometimes take too long.
Okay, that sounds fine. Well, I'm going to leave you so you can enjoy. I'm going to finish eating for me.
Bye.
I try to do these herbal detox water as much as possible, and the last one I did, I had some of the ingredients I have in this now. So I had the lemon grass or fever grass, I had the cerasee, I had jack in the bush, and I also had guava leaf for all of the different benefits that they give and the nutritive values in terms of electrolyte balancing and blood sugar, heart health, all of those things. So today, this is the one that I'm doing for now. I've discovered about fennel and the importance in terms of electrolyte and heart health, as well as hot flashes and in terms of bone density and things like those. So I've decided I'm going to have some of that this time. I've got the fever grass here, and at the base of it I'm just checking to make sure that all of what I have will fit, and that's the cerasee there. So I will boil the water, and then I will add the herbs to it whilst it's boiling, and let it boil for a few seconds, and then leave it to cool, and then store it so I can drink it each day for the week.
The Jam Fam family, where I living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. Jam Fam, come hang with me. Where I living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. Jam Fam, come hang with me. The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me, yeah.
Thank you for staying with us here on this another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. We appreciate you, and we appreciate your support. We appreciate your comments. We like reading them and responding to them, and we like sharing some of the things that you have to say with others so that they can see some of the views of the people from our Jam Fam tribe community. Bye for now. Do take care, and we will see you in the next one.